And we are here in the post-game report with the Dallas Tornadoes after they suffered a 3-0 loss to New Jersey Freedom here on Mother's Day 2022. Tornadoes now 2-2 on the year. We are joined left to right by starting libero Sam Schuldenberg and head coach Ivan Andujar. As Dallas has played well all year, coach, but today you ran into a New Jersey team that's clicking on all cylinders. Assess the match today for us.
I want to take full blame for it, right? It's always the coach's fault when coaches lose, right? When teams lose. But in this case, I think we could have probably stuck to certain lineups. It's a little bit hard when our team is with players that come from all around. We got people from Puerto Rico, Florida, Dallas, and not only Dallas area, we have Texas, we have San Antonio, Austin. So it's really hard to get this group of guys together to practice. So our practice is really limited. So I think that inconsistency basically showed today of not having that time to practice and gel and get to know each other. But I think probably sticking with the lineups that have given us good results would have been better to start the match out today. I think today the switch I made with the setters kind of let them get in rhythm. Beginning of the game, they started with their serves and they were just going 70-80% on their serves. They're starting to get into the game, and our passing was there and it was on point, but our setting was not. By the time I make the setting change, they're already warmed up and they're going 100% full blast on their serve. So it was a lot harder to fall into a rhythm when they're already warmed up and just going at it. So,
Sam, something that New Jersey has that it's probably rare throughout the league is size in their entire lineup, with the exception of maybe Ian Cap. So it makes it difficult to see the ball coming through, obviously on serve receive. How do you overcome that?
I think it's just having the mentality of next ball sight out. I think just the mentality going through the set, staying closer in points with Freedom. It was like, okay, just get a solid pass. We'll let our setter run their offense. When they're contacting consistently at a very high point and they're able to move the ball around across the court, like Ivan said, faster and faster throughout the game once they've gotten a rhythm going. It's really tough when you're not firing on all cylinders quite like the other team is. And with their service pressure came our service errors earlier, and kind of trying to come back from that while they were just still on a roll. It was tough.
And you guys did have 15 service errors in the match. Obviously, the game plan was to try to put New Jersey back on their heels. When that's not working, what can this team turn to going forward, Sam, if the service game is not applying that pressure?
Yeah, I think we get sparks of just our out-of-system game here and there, and I think our pin hitters are really comfortable with putting those high balls away. It's just finding a dig, it's finding an up, and it was really hard against Freedom, honestly, when, again, they're just attacking very consistently, setting very consistently. They're in system probably more than 75% of the time. So, I mean, block touches were there. They do hit their seams. Just kind of have to battle back from that, but it's tough.
Coach, something we've noticed is that as good, and Felix Chapman is one of the most electric players in the league, but he has been starting very slow in those first sets. What can you guys do going forward so he doesn't have that trajectory where he's getting better throughout the match, that he's more consistent from start to finish? Because clearly he's an integral part of your offense.
he is, but I think most of the teams already know that. Obviously, the entire league knows that. So it's kind of part of our game plan, and just kind of his style of play is that way. If you go back and see last year and you see his college career and see just the way he plays, it's always been like that. He'll always try to read out the team, see, and start off slow, and then he'll start getting into it. Most of the teams know that he's our go-to guy, so we need to get our other guys involved somehow during the match. So we try to, we need to try to get everybody involved, and when it comes to time, he's going to show up. He's always shown up, and we know he's going to show up. we just try to get everybody involved first and just try to make it run a full system, and then he's going to do what he's going to do. He's going to get his numbers. It's just the way his style of play is. Not sure how to get him to start off the game that way when it's been his style of play at least since I've been seeing him since college. He likes to, and he's even told me he likes to read the players. He likes to read the game, feel out the game, and then I don't know how he does it. He just turns on the switch.
And when he turns it on, it's deadly. But as you said, you certainly want to get some other players involved to carry that load early. And one of the players you want to turn to as the year goes on in the middle, Angel Rivera showed yesterday that he's very capable of being a factor in the middle. But today he was a non-factor. No kills in 5 swings, 2 errors. How do you make adjustments there to help him a little bit more comfortable when he's facing these big lineups?
I don't think it's not much of the big lineups fact. I think it was more on the serving. Their serving pressure was tough today. I think we just need to clean it up a little bit more on the passing side and be a little bit more consistent to get that ball into an area where our setters could find him a little bit more.
Sam, you guys are 2-2 though. Obviously, still a lot to be proud of. Another 1-1 weekend. You have the Southern Exposure coming up. Your first match of our third event of the year on Memorial Day weekend. You guys have a ton to play for, of course, but also the Southern Exposure as they've surprisingly dropped to 1-3 on the year. Talk about your preparation. 3 weeks to get ready for the next event.
Yeah, like you said, we are 2-2, and we're really proud of that. From last season being newly introduced to the league and now being 2-2, we're pretty happy with that. Obviously, we want to put up more of a fight with these tougher teams, but I think what we're doing, like in Texas and Texas volleyball, like we're really spreading the game there. As far as our next match against Southern Exposure, I think it's going to be a battle. I think we both have something to prove. I think that we're just going to keep going with the service pressure, kind of get them out of system. I think they're going to be a lot more motivated to pull out a W coming out on the second day of next event. But I think that we're going to come focused and composed again, like we have been coming, and we're going to put up a good fight.
And then, Coach, finally, it's Mother's Day weekend. Any messages you want to send to the Tornado faithful and to your own family?
Yes, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers of our Tornadoes players, staff, everybody. Happy Mother's Day to my mom. Felicidades, mami. Te amo. And happy Mother's Day to my wife. I love you. Te amo, mi amor. And thanks for everything you do.
Well, there you heard it from the Dallas Tornadoes, Sam Schildenberg and Coach Ivan Andujar. They did fall to Team Freedom today, 3-0, but they are 2-2 on the year. They'll return to action May 29th against Southern Exposure.